In the northern reaches of the Atlantic Ocean, where emerald cliffs rise out of the mist and the wind whispers ancient Viking tales, a royal journey is unfolding that's capturing the hearts of a nation, and the world. His Majesty King Frederik X and Her Majesty Queen Mary of Denmark have arrived in the Faroe Islands, and this isn't just any royal visit. This is history in the making. With the Danish flag fluttering alongside the Faroese flag, the arrival of the royal couple was not just ceremonial, it was emotional. Locals lined the harbors of Tórshavn, their eyes glistening with pride and anticipation. Some had waited hours, braving the ocean breeze and light rain just to catch a glimpse of the king and queen. And when they finally stepped off the royal ship, it was nothing short of magical. King Frederik, in a perfectly tailored navy suit, exuded calm strength, while Queen Mary radiated elegance in a pale blue coat dress inspired by traditional Faroese weaving patterns. Their connection with the crowd was immediate: handshakes, warm smiles, and heartfelt greetings in both Danish and Faroese. But why this visit now? Why are the Faroe Islands, so remote yet so significant, at the center of a royal spotlight? The Faroe Islands, an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, are a cluster of 18 volcanic islands nestled between Iceland and Norway. With a population of just over 50,000, they're small in size but vast in cultural heritage. Politically, they enjoy a high degree of self-governance. But symbolically, the monarchy remains an important thread connecting the islands to the larger Danish realm. And King Frederik, he knows this. This isn't just about protocol. It's about people. It's about reaffirming bonds at a time when monarchies across Europe face scrutiny and change. The moment King Frederik and Queen Mary touched Faroese soil, tradition met modern monarchy. In a ceremonial welcome at Tingens, the old government quarter, local leaders draped the couple with handwoven scarves made from Faroese wool. The gesture symbolized unity, warmth, and the islanders' deep respect for their royal guests. Music filled the air. Traditional folk songs, sung in Faroese dialect, echoed against the red-painted wooden houses. The queen, visibly moved, placed a hand over her heart. She wasn't just attending, she was connecting. Children in traditional dress presented bouquets, while the elders offered salt-dried fish and rhubarb jam, delicacies that date back centuries. And yet, there was nothing stale or rehearsed about it. The air was electric with authenticity. In a highly anticipated moment, King Frederik stepped up to the podium placed at the harborfront. "We are honored to be here. The Faroe Islands are not just part of our kingdom, they are part of our hearts." His words, simple yet powerful, resonated. He spoke in Danish, but acknowledged the beauty of the Faroese language, making an effort to say key phrases like, "Tak fyrir taikara matoku," thank you for your welcome. The crowd erupted in applause. The king also emphasized environmental conservation, praising the islands for their sustainable fishing practices and green energy initiatives. But perhaps the most powerful part of his speech came when he paused, looked out over the crowd, and said, "We may be separated by sea, but we are joined by spirit." A moment that will undoubtedly be remembered for generations. If King Frederik is the anchor, Queen Mary is the wave that stirs emotion. During the visit, she broke protocol more than once, in the best way possible. She kneeled to talk to children, hugged an elderly woman who broke down in tears, and even danced briefly to a traditional song at the town square in Klaksvik. At a school visit, Queen Mary spoke about education, equality, and resilience. No matter where you live, whether it's the heart of Copenhagen or a village on Suðuroy, your dreams matter. And your future is bright. A former Australian, Queen Mary's journey from Tasmania to the Danish royal family is well known. But in the Faroe Islands, she wasn't a foreigner. She was family. Royal watchers and fashion critics had their eyes glued to the Queen's wardrobe, and she did not disappoint. On day one, her blue coat featured embroidery inspired by the waves and cliffs of the islands. Day two saw her in a dark green ensemble made from locally sourced wool, paired with Faroese silver jewelry, crafted by local artisans. But beyond aesthetics, every outfit was a message. I see you. I respect you. I celebrate you. It wasn't just fashion, it was diplomacy, stitched with thoughtfulness. While this trip was rich in symbolism, it was also strategically timed. With increased interest in independence among some Faroese politicians and shifting geopolitical winds in the Arctic, the royal visit sent a clear message: unity matters. Meetings were held behind closed doors. Sources close to the Danish government hinted that topics like climate policy, trade, and North Atlantic defense partnerships were discussed. But through it all, the monarchy served as a bridge, a symbol of stability in changing times. Yes, sheep. With more sheep than people, the Faroe Islands are known for their wool industry, and the king and queen didn't shy away from rural life. They visited a sheep farm in Eysturoy, where King Frederik tried shearing a sheep under the guidance of a local farmer. The result, a viral video moment and a shared laugh across the kingdom. They also attended a storytelling night in a turf-roofed cultural house, listening to sagas passed down for over 1,000 years. Perhaps one of the most important moments came when the royal couple visited a high school. In an open dialogue session, young Faroese students asked bold questions. What does monarchy mean in a modern world? Will the Faroe Islands always be part of Denmark? How can youth help shape the future? King Frederik encouraged civic engagement and reminded them, "You are not the leaders of tomorrow, you are the leaders of today." Queen Mary chimed in with a message of empowerment, particularly for girls and minority groups. As the royal couple prepared to depart, locals gathered once more at the harbor. Tears were shed, songs were sung, flags waved. In a touching moment, Queen Mary embraced a local girl who had gifted her a handmade bracelet. King Frederik gave a final wave before boarding the vessel, but not before promising, "We will return, not just as monarchs, but as friends." In 3 short days, bridges were built. Not of concrete, but of compassion. Between tradition and modernity. Between monarchy and people. And as the royal ship sails into the Atlantic mist, it leaves behind more than footprints. It leaves behind hope. To understand the significance of this royal visit, we must journey back through the annals of history, back to when the Faroe Islands were first settled by Norsemen in the 9th century. The island's relationship with Denmark began formally in the 14th century, evolving under the Danish crown for over 600 years. Yet, the islands have always maintained a fiercely independent spirit. During World War II, when Denmark was occupied by Nazi Germany, the Faroe Islands were temporarily governed by Britain. Even then, they held on to their unique identity, culturally Faroese, administratively linked to Denmark, and geographically apart from both. Fast forward to 1948, the Faroe Islands were granted home rule by Denmark, giving them control over internal affairs while foreign policy and defense remained under Copenhagen's oversight. This visit by King Frederik and Queen Mary, then, is more than ceremonial. It's a powerful nod to a centuries-long balancing act, unity through autonomy. While flags waved and choirs sang, beneath the pageantry was a quiet, serious urgency: climate change. The Faroe Islands are on the front lines of the climate crisis. Rising sea levels, changing fish migration patterns, and coastal erosion threaten the island's ecosystems and economies. That's why Queen Mary's meeting with local environmental groups on day 2 was so important. She visited a marine research facility where scientists monitor ocean temperatures and microplastics. Dressed in sustainable fashion and re-wearing a coat first seen a decade ago, she made a symbolic statement. Her message: preserving the beauty of the Faroes is not just for the Faroese. It's for all of us. King Frederik echoed this sentiment in a closed-door meeting with business leaders, encouraging green investment and innovation. This wasn't just photo-op diplomacy, it was soft power in action. Behind every royal visit is a carefully orchestrated team. For this trip, the king and queen were accompanied by Faroese-born Danish diplomat Jonas Goran Petersen, who helped bridge linguistic and cultural connections. Crown court photographers, capturing intimate, never-before-seen moments later shared on the Danish royal house's Instagram account. Royal security detail discreetly maintaining safety amidst open public events. And interestingly, Countess Ingrid of Monpeset, King Frederik's niece, joined for part of the visit. Her presence as a young royal figure symbolized continuity, a bridge between generations. The visit wasn't just about the king and queen. It was a subtle introduction to the future. On day 3, the king and queen visited Kirkjubor, the spiritual heart of the Faroe Islands. Here, the ruins of Magnus Cathedral, a 13th-century church left unfinished, stand like silent sentinels of the past. Nearby, St. Olav's Church still holds services and connects today's islanders with centuries of Christian heritage. The queen, known for her quiet faith, lit a candle and paused in reflection. "This place humbles us," King Frederik said during a brief speech. "It reminds us that kingdoms are not only built by power, but by purpose." Locals watched in awe as the royal couple walked the ancient stone paths hand in hand, a modern echo of an ancient lineage. Some of the most touching moments weren't captured by cameras. According to local sources, the Queen took time to privately visit a Faroese women's cooperative that helps women escape domestic violence, a cause close to Mary's heart. She reportedly spent nearly an hour with them, hearing stories, sharing her own struggles, and leaving behind personal gifts. Meanwhile, King Frederik was seen informally speaking with fishermen, asking about their daily lives, economic struggles, and the challenges of modernizing an ancient trade. One fisherman later told Faroese media, "He wasn't talking like a king. He was talking like a man who wanted to understand." No royal visit is complete without the exchange of symbolic gifts. The Faroese government gifted the king and queen a custom wool tapestry made by local artists depicting all 18 islands, each one colored by hand-dyed natural pigments. A replica of a Viking-era brooch discovered on the island of Sandoy. A basket of Faroese delicacies, including dried mutton, skerpikjot, rhubarb preserves, and local gin made from seaweed and herbs. In return, Queen Mary gifted a set of children's books in Faroese and Danish, aimed at bilingual literacy. King Frederik presented a personal letter of thanks, framed with a hand-drawn map of the islands, one he sketched himself. It's these gestures, humble and thoughtful, that elevated the visit beyond ceremony. Danish and Faroese newspapers ran glowing headlines: "A royal embrace, Frederik and Mary melt hearts in Tórshavn, Politiken. Queen Mary dances with our children, Sojuluren. From Tasmania to Tórshavn. A queen for the people, Berlingske." Royal commentators called it the most successful royal visit to the islands in over 40 years. Social media exploded. Clips of Queen Mary helping a child fix their scarf went viral. A photo of King Frederik under a rainbow in Saxon was shared tens of thousands of times. More importantly, even Republicans, those critical of the monarchy, praised the visit's tone, sincerity, and focus on real issues. The royal visit didn't just stay within Danish borders. Norwegian and Icelandic media reported warmly on the visit, seeing it as a nod to their shared Norse heritage. British royal watchers admired Queen Mary's approachable style, comparing her favorably to Princess Catherine. Australian outlets celebrated their native-born queen connecting with distant parts of her adopted kingdom. This global attention reaffirmed the Faroe Islands' place on the world stage, not just as a scenic outpost, but as a vibrant, modern community. What will this royal visit mean in 5, 10, or even 50 years? Already, there are whispers in the Faroese parliament of naming new public programs after the king and queen. Tourism agencies report increased interest from international travelers inspired by the royal tour. Local educators have begun developing lesson plans around the visit, emphasizing diplomacy, identity, and climate action. And in Copenhagen, the royal family has reportedly commissioned a documentary-style chronicle of the visit, combining personal footage, citizen interviews, and drone shots to immortalize the event. This wasn't just a royal stopover. It was a turning point. Throughout this journey, one thing became clear: King Frederik X is forging his own path. He is not trying to imitate his mother, Queen Margrethe II. He is not clinging to old models of monarchy. He is modern, modest, and deeply committed to bridging divides. His visit to the Faroe Islands wasn't about grand declarations. It was about presence, listening, walking the land, sharing meals, laughing with children, and Queen Mary, she's no mere consort, she's a leader in her own right. Together, they represent a new generation of royalty, still regal, but relentlessly human. As the northern lights dance across the skies and the sea winds whisper through the fjords, the Faroe Islands are forever changed. Not by decree, but by connection. Not by titles, but by touch. And in the hearts of the Faroese people, King Frederik and Queen Mary are no longer distant monarchs, they are neighbors, friends and family. Do you believe royal visits like these still hold real power, or are they simply symbolic rituals in a modern world? Would you welcome your monarch or head of state the same way? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for connected of this emotional journey through the Faroe Islands.